here we go. Czech Pilsner. It's looking pretty clear. I've got condensation here. I don't know if you can see this, but it's looking pretty clear. Looking pretty good. Smells good. Smells pretty clean. Yeah, let's give it a taste. It's pretty good. It's really clean, light. Let's talk about the recipe, I guess, a little bit here. This was pretty simple, straightforward. It had 10 pounds of Pilsner malt and 0.5 pounds of Carapils. And then I hit it with 1 ounce of Hallertau Blanc for 60 minutes, and then I did Saaz for half an ounce of Saaz for 30 minutes, and then another half an ounce of Saaz for at flame out. And as you saw in the video, I did a little bit of water adjustment. I started with distilled water and added 3 grams of calcium chloride. Czech Pilsner, from what I've read, is a pretty soft water profile, and I think my water here kind of overshot that. So I did add some phosphoric acid to the mash as well, just to hit a good pH. And then for yeast, I used Saflager 3470, which is dry packet yeast. I think this was actually reused from a previous batch. So my last batch of Pilsner, I probably saved the yeast at the bottom of the fermenter, and it sat in a mason jar for a couple weeks, and then I pitched it. So I fermented for around, I don't have it on here, but I think it was around 54 degrees, 54, 56 degrees Fahrenheit. And yeah, it actually finished pretty fast. I brewed on August 12th, and then this was going into keg on August 25th, so less than 2 weeks. Was that 13 days? And then on August 27th, I was basically pouring. I filled some cans and stuff. So this has been on draft for a week and a half at this point. I did use gelatin. Was this the first time I used gelatin? I used gelatin on this beer for clearing, and I don't know if you can see, it's pretty clear. My wort typically is not very clear because I don't do recirculation, as you saw, or Vorloff or any of that stuff, but I didn't really cold crash for very long, just a couple days. But I did do the gelatin findings, which I'm pretty pleased about. I've started using that on all my clear beers. So I'm pretty happy with this. I've just gotten into hardcore into Pilsners this summer. What is wrong with this beer? Every now and then I wonder if it has some kind of off flavor. Right now it doesn't seem like it does. But it was the same thing with my last batch too. I filled some cans and I took them somewhere, and then when I served it, I thought this tastes a little sweet or corny or something. I didn't do a diacetyl rest. I've been told that this yeast 3470, you don't really need to do that. So maybe I should. This batch was kind of rushed because I was trying to get it ready for a trip. But next time, if I have would like to make time for the diacetyl rest and see if it's any cleaner. Um, some other ideas I have for this beer. I mean, it's pretty good. I could just rebrew this as is, and it's a great beer to have on draft. What was the ABV? It's good beer to have on draft. 5.5%. Final gravity was 1.006. Original gravity is 1.048. This is the kind of beer I like to have on draft for like everyday kind of after work beer. Not too crazy. Pretty straightforward. What I would like to try with this beer. Oh, I have a lot of ideas actually. Where's my list? I probably could brew a bigger batch with this. I just recently realized that I have capacity to brew 10 gallons. So with something like a Pilsner, that being that I got my recipe more or less dialed in, I could just go ahead and do 10 gallons. And having an extra keg sitting around just waiting to be tapped when the first one's gone, that would be really nice. Pilsner is not really going to fade that much. There is a little bit of size, hoppiness to it. Kind of like a sharp flavor. But I wouldn't be worried about keeping a keg of this sitting around for months. A lot of Pilsners and lagers, a lot of people will just actually lager them and have them sitting for months and months at a time before they even start drinking them. So, bigger batch. Next time I would like to also try decoction mash, because this is it's really tasty, but it's a little. I really think that it could go a little bit further in terms of the malt flavor. And I've heard that the decoction mash, you can achieve that. So maybe I'd like to try that next time. Diacetyl rest. And the other idea I have for this is to use some Kveik yeast. There's some newly available strains that are supposed to mimic lager, lagers. So I'd like to try. I haven't tried it at all yet, so I might, I wonder how much of this beer flavor actually comes from that lager yeast. It's certainly a little bit of it, So that would be some things to try. But overall, yeah, I'm super pleased with this beer. Give it a try. Czech Pilsner sometimes. Yeah, that's about it. Rusty Barrel signing off.